Thank you very much. First of all, I have to get in my presentation set up for a bit. I was very happy when I got this one just now, but I also have to use this one. So I've got a lot in my hands. One moment. I'm gonna do some cooking. And then I have the microphone, but I also have a clicker, and I want to use my cell phone as a look at what I have to say sometimes. So maybe I'm gonna ask for some assistance. If you want to hold this one, yeah, no. If you can hold this one. Okay, so that's the clicker. If I ask you or point, then you can go to the next slide. Can you put the... This is not what's about. Oh. Wait. Technology. Yes. Okay, well, it's very nice to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you a bit more about Buurtbuik, my voluntary organization. I'm going to go into the notes. So, my name is Rensen. This is actually my last day of being 29. And, I lived throughout different cities in the Netherlands, mainly in Rotterdam and Amsterdam. But the reason for that I'm going to get back to in a minute. For the next presentation, like about 15 to 20 minutes, I will try to give you some good vibes and energy. Also a bit of interaction with you guys, some videos as well. There's presents at the end. I heard that maybe some people have to go earlier because of work and stuff. If you have to leave earlier, then there's the presents on that side. But the information about the present, I will tell you in the end. Okay, then the next slide, please. Interaction. So I'm going to ask some questions, and if you stand up, it's a yes, and if you don't stand up, it's a no. So first question: who speaks Dutch? I can almost switch my presentation to Dutch. Who doesn't speak Dutch? I'm going to do it in English then. And I will also, I always tell about my English. I think my English is good enough. In Dutch, I used to say, my English is very well, maar niet zo snel, maar kom er wel. So maybe sometimes if I lose some words, then I will ask you in the public to help me out a bit. Next question. Who sleeps with a stuffed animal? That was just a fun question. If you can do the next. It's not about Buurtbuik beer, but we will talk about Buurtbuik from now on. Can you do the next slide, please? Okay, so a little bit more about myself, because I also like to have the opportunity to dive into what I do, and also, of course, in the end, what I do with Buurtbuik. I always like to do that in divided by 3. So if you can do the next slide. I'm a sailing liveaboard, so I live on a sailboat. That's why I live in different cities throughout the Netherlands. Right now my boat is in Amsterdam, so I live in Amsterdam. And what you can see is I bought this boat 2 years ago, and last year I sailed it all the way back from Greece to the Netherlands, which was like a big adventure. A lot of fun, a lot of endurance as well. So that's a bit about me as a person, in my free spare time. Next slide is about my work. I have my own company. It's called Duurzame Dealer, sustainable supplier in English. And what I do is I represent intrinsically circular startups or companies that want to make the world a bit better and not a bit less worse. So companies that really make a difference into the circular economy and try to aim for a system change. And then last but not least, of course, the next slide is about Buurtbuik. And here you can see some impressions about what it is about. Of course, every location of Buurtbuik has a bakfiets, a cargo bike. That's why you saw in the beginning my function as cargo bike coordinator. Next up is, again, some questions with standing up or stay on your seat. Can you do the next slide? It's not the end. Who still knows what they had for dinner yesterday? If I ask them now. Everybody, okay. And the day before yesterday? Okay. Who this week had a dinner and then he had some leftovers and he used that for his lunch? Good, good. Who has sometimes made something of this dinner or of discarded food that he thought, well, this is maybe a bit too far, but I can still use it? Okay. Who knows the percentage of the income that we people spend on food? Percentage, yeah. Any guesses in the public? Well, that was exactly the answer. 10 to 15% of our income goes to food. Who knows how much food we throw away in the whole system of the food chain? 30, yeah, 30 to 40%. That's you're doing pretty well. So yeah, that's a lot, and that's also like a big system error, big system problem. So if you can do the next slide, let's talk about food a bit. I didn't want to have this presentation about 30 to 40% food waste, and it's the system is not working, and all the ins and outs of that, because I think maybe you know already, or you can look it up, like Wikipedia is your friend then. But yeah, just a bit about what I think, and that's also including what the Buurtbuik philosophy is. Like, the system is a bit broken. So like we as people, we as human, we need air, water and food, but then still 40% is discarded and it's wasted, and that's a bit problem. And like the food chain is, let me tell it to you differently. The food chain, even Buurtbuik, is, in my opinion, sometimes giving a wrong message all the way up to the food system in the food chain, because we collect discarded food, we cook something beautiful with it, but then all the way up in the stream where they produce the food, they get the signal, okay, let's produce 120% of what we can produce, because we need to try to sell as much as possible. And then, yeah, maybe we're going to sell 110%. But because even Buurtbuik takes this discarded leftover foods, they got the message, okay, if I produce 120%, then probably somewhere in the system someone's going to do something good with it. And that's also maybe not the message that you want to send all the way up. And I think that's a big, big system error. And like, to go a bit more into the theory, if you can do the next slide, what I think what we should do, I don't know if you heard about the Moerman's ladder. I think ladder is the right English word for this. But so we need to try to prevent food waste, and then we go down the ladder, and then first of all we need to use it, which is the highest potential, like food for people, and then food for animals. And it goes all the way down to like the landfills and burning it, and that's even also happening. So that's what we need to prevent. And we at Buurtbuik, we try to use discarded food as food for the people in our communities. So a bit more about Buurtbuik then. If you can do the... So Buurtbuik started almost 10 years ago. Were two friends. Were going to Portugal actually. They were in the sunny, how do you call that? Park. They were in a beautiful park, and they were seeing all those families and friends sharing meals on a sunny Sunday. And they were like, wow, they do that here in the park and it's beautiful. Why can we not do that the same in the Netherlands? And they went back to Amsterdam where they lived, and they started Buurtbuik with collecting the food once every week. And they mainly work together with the community houses in the neighborhoods. And then they were just cooking a 3-course dinner with that. And they invited everybody for free. So it's like a free meal, not budget friendly, it's very budget friendly. And doing that and sharing that, it also has a big social aspect, because when we cook the 3-course menu and we share that together, that's bringing people together. And because it's about food waste and the social aspect, there's a lot of different people for different reasons coming to Buurtbuik. There's at my location in the south of Rotterdam. There is people coming as a bank manager. They are maybe a bit poor and live in the neighborhood, and they can use a free meal. They are lonely. They are young professionals. They are students. They want to do something for the community. So that's beautiful, bringing those together, because the students, for example, they can talk to the people that just came living in the neighborhoods and have a language barrier. They have a taalachterstand. And those aspects, it's beautiful to see. And even like this bank manager that comes to Buurtbuik, he's giving financial advice to people how you should do your financial stuff. And that synergy is beautiful to combine. And that's different to other also very important voluntary organizations, or organizations like the Voedselbank, the food bank. They give away food. And then you go home, and then you have like the financial stuff, and you probably use discarded food. But bringing those together, that's what Buurtbuik is really about. And at this day, we have 10 locations in Amsterdam, 5 in Utrecht, and I started 4 years ago with the first one in Rotterdam, and we want to grow. That's also the present in the end, but we want to grow to 4 locations in about 2 years. And that's the aim for the future. Also about Buurtbuik, but more from my perspective, what's in it for me. If you can do the next slide, and then I'm going to take over the thingy. Because I want to include you as well a bit, so I'm going to do a Pecha Kucha style presentation. Normally it's like 20 seconds, 20 slides. But I'm going to do a bit more complex. I'm going to give you guys the pointer, and then you do 20 seconds. I also give you the timer to another person. And then the other person is supposed to say, oh, 20 seconds, next slides. And then you give the timer and the pointer to the next person next to you. Hopefully this is going to work.
Why wouldn't it?
I think it should be working. I lose myself 2 seconds, but if I can give this to you, you press the upper one, and then I think you should repeat it because it's underneath. So you can, and then you give it forward after the change of the next slide. Yeah? Can you press just once? Because it's... Oh, yeah, it does that as well. Okay. 1 second. This is probably going a bit fast, so try to follow me. If you press, then the 20 seconds go in and you shout like next slide, and then you go. Okay, so this is 4 years ago how we started. This is the different departments in Buurtbuik. Volunteers, location, communication, and overig. This is all the ideas that we had in the beginning, like what we should do to build up Buurtbuik. Is it working with the... And this was our first, the first board members. You see me on the left for you. Of course, you can do it digitally, as you can see. And this is how we started. It's in Blue City. And with this team, 4 years ago, we started the Buurtbuik concept building up in Rotterdam. Yeah. This is a little video. What we also used to try to do is Buurtbuik kijkvoer. So watch. Oh, there's sound coming from there. So this is like Buurtbuik kijkvoer. I don't know how to translate kijkvoer into English, but like movies about what dishes you can make from discarded food. And this is Mitch and me playing around and. Yeah, here you can see Shireen. She like lovely food that we make, always in big portions because we need to share with a lot of people. I think like during one Buurtbuik evening we cook for 40 to 50 people that come and join us. Yeah, so just big plates, a lot of people, a lot of fun, freestyling all the time. Yeah, this is a fun one. It's supposed to change halfway the 20 seconds. This is our shop, how we gave away. We started in 2020 and it was Corona. So we should give away food. And we were not allowed to do the 3-course dinner. So we gave away food packages, which we prepared, so not food giving away. And this is, you saw the change that we did, like we made a photo with and without the mask. Yeah, this is the amount of food that we collect. That's like, to me, it's insane every time we go to the market or the supermarket. The amount of food that we get, we even now got like a bandage to go around it because it's so much that if you have to cycle all the way back to the community house that it might fall off. So it's big portions. Yeah, this is my good friend, and that's also like the synergy, the social part about Buurtbuik. This is Theo, 73. And I didn't know him before, but he was like a spin in the web. So he was really connecting people to Buurtbuik. And right now, every 2 weeks, I have lunch with him. So I'm 29, almost 30, and he's 73. And that's the connection that you make with the Buurtbuik. This is a little video about the impression. There's sound with it. So we even have this guy is called Guy. And he makes music sometimes at Buurtbuik, and that's like amazing. It's the vibe goes through the roof, and it's beautiful to have, and all the people are enjoying a bit of dancing even. Yeah, and this is beautiful. I want to show you because one of the volunteers for the last 3 months he made a photo collage. So without you knowing or with you knowing, he made like pictures and he put it in a slideshow and in a presentation. And I think his pictures are beautiful, also representing how people are feeling and at Buurtbuik. Here you can see another photo of him, and you see the Buurtbuik community. This is most definitely the first course. We always make soup because it's pretty easy to make. You just have a large pan, you throw everything in it, and then you blend it and then you're done. And I'm well known for, with Buurtbuik people, to just throw in anything. So if I have leftover cucumber, I throw it in. This is Jurjen. His parents died a couple of years ago. He's really in, hij heeft er last van. He's suffering from it, thank you. And he's coming every week at Buurtbuik, and he was very shy, he didn't know what to do. And then suddenly he said like, hey, you have a fruit salad at the end. You can use cannel for the flavor. And now every time we ask him about the flavors and the herbs that we use for the dishes. Yeah, this is just a bit about me. Buurtbuik, I take Buurtbuik everywhere, even to work. So this is spreading flyers and posters everywhere. This is in Blue City, and I give it to people. I always try to have like to have some with me to share it. If I'm in the train, yesterday I was in the train, someone begged for money, and I don't like to give money, but I give the flyer. Like, please come to Buurtbuik. Special evenings as well. We did cheese fondue evening at the end of last year's winter. Very fun, and yeah, doing something special for those people is also very important. It's going pretty well with the handing over and the timing. During this cheese fondue evening, I asked people to write their Buurtbuik feeling on a table linen cloth. And the message that people shared, that's beautiful, and that's what I do it for, and all the other board members, coordinators, and volunteers. That's what we work for. We continue even in winter, and the energy prices went up, so the heating was off. So then you are cooking and having dinner in a bit colder environment. But yeah, I can only say the connection and the bringing together the people just warms everybody up. But yeah, then you have to wear your hat during the cooking. Yeah, again, the Buurtbuik feeling. Oh, I blurred I blurred out all the faces of the people for external use. Yeah, it's just sharing, talking to each other, having fun, laughing. On the previous slides, you don't see them here, but we have Buurtbuik kletskaartjes. Try to translate that one. But then you can ask people questions about what did you have for food yesterday, and you start the connection. Again, Theo, I told you I take Buurtbuik everywhere, but I also bring to Buurtbuik sometimes stuff that I don't use anymore. And in this case, Theo is wearing my dad's jacket, which was not fitting me. So I give it to Theo, and he's very happy about it. Maybe you saw the Buurtbuik cargo bike, the Buurtbuik bakfiets downstairs. This is what was a new idea and it didn't work out. But we need promotion, we need people to join, and we need people in the board. So I was having marketing reclame on my flagpole at the end of the Buurtbuik bakfiets. But I think it lasted a week and then it was demolished. Oh, yeah. Almost there. Yeah, we also have quite some collaborations. We sometimes get vegetarian butcher, vegetarische slager products. And this was a fun one because we worked together a couple of times with HelloFresh. But it didn't work out as we thought because HelloFresh gives you a lot of small packages. So you have to take out all those packages. And then you have a lot of food. Last one, after Buurtbuik evening, from the south going to my boat, and then just sharing some Rotterdam vibes with the cargo bike that is also downstairs. That is the Pecha Kucha. Oh no, you can. When I say next, then you can do the next one. Then I can still peek at my. Yeah, that is what Buurtbuik means to me. What Buurtbuik is about. I think it gives a good impression about. Yeah. But yeah, we last time for growing Buurtbuik in Rotterdam, growing to 4 locations, we unfortunately need also some financial reasons. Because we do everything for free, we get the food for free, but the cargo bike is not for free, the insurance is not for free, etc. So we made a beautiful movie for the subsidy giver, supplier. And this is a video about what Buurtbuik means to the people. If you can...
Sound on the trailer? 1 second. Make sure your sound goes through speakers.
It's always funny how the technology works, and then even with like video calling, you always have to set up stuff, and then the sound is not working, it is working. Hopefully it is now.
Laurens?
Maybe, did you hear it in the back when it was from my computer, or?
Toch even let op doen.
This is, by the way, not my boat. This is like a future.
Microfoon bijhouden.
Buurtbuik voor mij betekent een organisatie die voor allemaal verschillende mensen aandacht verzorgt. Die mensen hebben ook om allerlei verschillende redenen nodig. En dat maken wij samen met elkaar voor elkaar.
Met van iets niets maar, van het eten die overblijft. Op dezelfde dag wordt er iets gemaakt ervan.
Verbinding met iedereen die hier op tijd woont en mensen uit andere delen van Amsterdam en samen altijd zitten en mooie gesprekken hebben.
Buurtbuik is voor mij een andere kant van Rotterdam dingen. En heel veel energie krijgen voor iets wat mij heel erg blij is.
Buurtbuik is een unieke beleving waarin je plezier, verbinding en gelijkheid ervaart.
Door middel van het eten, wat ons allemaal verbindt, ook die verbintenis in de wijk versterken. Dus met gered voedsel, allemaal culturen en achtergronden bij elkaar brengen en gezellig eten.
Yeah, so that's what Buurtbuik means to the people that we cook together with and cook for. And the theme of this month's Creative Mornings is endurance. Yeah, I think I'm quite foolhardy. I like continuing also when the things don't look positive. I did that for 4 years with Buurtbuik, but I want to change a bit. I want to ask you a question. Maybe we can prepare already the boombox, the throwable thingy. But what I also thought about endurance is I started 4 years ago with 5 board members. Then 4 left, 3 came back, or like not back, like 3 new came in. 3 left, 2 new came in, and last year when I was supposed to sail back from the Netherlands to Greece to the Netherlands, there was no one else left at Buurtbuik, so we had to close for 4 months, which was not something that we wanted. And the endurance part about it is I was at the beginning, like the first 2 years of those 4 years, people left and new people came. I was also doubting myself. Maybe they leave because of me. Maybe it has something to do with my style of work or the vibe that the Buurtbuik gives, or I don't know. But I was doubting myself, and the question I wanted to ask you: do you ever feel like you want to give up, or you want to give the stick to the next person, but you also think like I'm giving a positive influence and impact in the things I do? So should I leave or should I continue? And what's the importance about leaving, and what's the stress? So the enduring is good, but should you not sometimes stop enduring and give the opportunity to the next ones? And that was what I was doubting myself for the first 2 years, like when the first people left and new ones came in. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not.
No.
Sorry, I was going to say I'm not going to catch things, obviously. Right. Well, my thoughts about it. So first, I want to say yes, I have felt like that too. And for me, leaving often feels like not physically leaving, but actually kind of disengaging or disconnecting from whatever I'm doing. And I've had situations, I think, in more work related, but not necessarily at my job, but just like doing activities where I felt like, yeah, I can't really connect to the people around, or I was also doubting, like, is it me? Is it the situation? I often found that people have their own motives for doing things.
Yeah.
It's most often not related to you, well, although it's also something to look into if you are doubting. But what I found useful is to be honest about it, be open, exactly what you're doing. Also, I really appreciate your vulnerability, and to just say, I feel like this. I feel a bit lonely in this or alienated in this situation, and I wanted to share. And I found that when I do that, people open, or
Yeah.
I open also, and people open back. And that feels like a more healing path to take. Yeah, so when I feel like giving up, I first kind of throw it out there and say, my boat is a little bit rocky. Can we talk about it? And that helped.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you throw it all the way to the back there?
I'm gonna just.
Of people. For me, there were two things. One is a trick. It's make it impossible to escape. It's also what generals in wartime use. If your soldiers cannot step back, if there's no way to escape, they will fight harder. So tell everybody you're going to do it and you won't stop. So they will be your the scary eyes looking at you. And another thing, it's about you're creating something which does not exist yet. So if you look at it in a rational way, there's no reason to do it because it hasn't done before. So don't try to rationalize it. It's all about hope.
Mm-hmm.
And hope is something different than, and you get hope by other ways. And so, but once you know it's about hope, it's about next step, it's about believing in something we can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
That's a better way to manage it.
Beautiful.
So a few years ago, I was at a fairly aggressive scale-up company, tech, San Francisco-based, very high IQ, sometimes EQ would be a little bit lower in the environment I was in. And I realized this high stress, and so as someone with a learning disability, I realized there wasn't a disabilities group. And so I started one, and it was hard to get people like to show up consistently. And so I felt like maybe I wasn't offering it right, or maybe it was me. But then I realized like I kept doing it each month and I would still show up. And then I'd have one person who's like, hey, thank you. Like now I've talked to my therapist, or like, hey, like now I don't feel alone. And so for me, I had to like reevaluate. It wasn't about scale, but for some people, just knowing that there was other people or this group existed was a really important lifeline to them. And then even just helping one person who was based in India and struggling with cultural norms, like being like, hey, now I see that this is okay. Like that is a huge impact. So like rather thinking like, oh, these people are leaving, thinking about the people that are staying.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe even if they don't show up, knowing that that exists is enough, you know?
Beautiful, thank you. Someone else?
There have been times in my life where I've continued doing something because I was scared of what else was out there. It was sort of a comfort thing. And I think looking back, that was a missed opportunity to then, go out, try new things. But there are other things where we are the placeholder for something big. And if we don't do that, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be there. And then at some point, maybe it will have a life of its own apart from you. But for now, you are the placeholder.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you very much for your input, and what I experienced and what I developed is over the years. So 4 years ago started, and then after half a year was getting this doubt, like, am I in the right place, doing the right thing? Maybe it's better if someone else takes over. What I tried to do is making a compass, moral compass or anything like, and questioning yourself, am I still doing the right thing? Does it make impact? Do we save food? Do we bring together people? Connection in the neighborhood? And the answer to all those questions were always yes. So that was my compass at the time. And I asked for feedback. So maybe like the vulnerability, like asking feedback to the people that stayed. Like, do you think we are in the right path, and do you think we are doing a good job? And if the answers were yes, with all the volunteers like Theo and Jurien, what is Buurtbuik all about? So, and they were saying yes, and then I was going to continue. And like 4 years later, I have the feeling I'm on the right track, and I would like to endure. But yeah, like going to question, yeah.
Did you also ask the people who left for feedback? Maybe they left for completely different reasons.
Answer to that sure is no, but I've thought about it and I've read it somewhere like sometimes once every period of like a half a year or 2 years. I read about that you might want to sometimes send a letter to people and asking for feedback that you don't talk to that much anymore. So I am thinking about that, and some of them are still friends, and not there's no people that are enemies now or like not friendly, but I still talk to some people that left, and I meet them sometimes. But I didn't really ask them like why did you actually leave, and was it about your change of situation, which is most often the case. Like we work with Buurtbuik with young professionals a lot, so they go on like a wereldreis, world tour, job, vacation. They change jobs, they go live somewhere else. So that was most of the time the reason. But that's I'm going to end with that as well. I find it very hard to find new people in Buurtbuik, and that's probably also because it's a voluntary job. To me, I always say vrijwilligerswerk is ook werk. So you have your responsibilities, also at a voluntary job. But I have the feeling that some people don't have that exact mentality, and they think it's easier to then go for something else. But the biggest struggle over the 4 years that I encountered is finding good people that want to stay, that are committed, that feel responsible. But I will also end with that. There's a question here as well.
I was just wondering, what was the reason that you started all these initiatives? Where do you find this influence?
At my first job when I moved from Amsterdam to Rotterdam was in Blue City, and then after 3 years that's the swimming pool that's over there, about circular city hub with all entrepreneurs. And then I changed jobs, and in that process I was thinking to myself, I also want to do something and contribute something that doesn't have a commercial perspective, just doing something for the community for free. And another good friend of mine from Amsterdam, he was already involved in the Buurtbuik organization in Amsterdam, and he moved here as well to Rotterdam. And then we talked, and he asked me like, don't you want to put this one in Rotterdam as well? And that's why I started. Yeah, and I really like it, so I don't give up. And like during the Pecha Kuche, I saw the black and white pictures from the voluntary person that made this, and it's in a beautiful collage. And when I see those things and seeing all the connection and the people thriving and coming back all the time, that's what gives me the motivation to continue.
I'll give you the mic.
What's been the experience of the Amsterdam group? Have they had more?
In the next growth period, I'm going to talk more often to the Amsterdam locations as well. But from the stories, because we have some sessions that we talk together in the group setting, I just know that there is also a challenge in that. And sometimes even a location closes because of the lack of people that are willing to continue buurtbuiking. So yeah, sometimes they just have to close, sometimes they continue. There's one person I'm going to talk to next week that is very good at it. He is a senior guy, like 55, 65, something. So my take on it is he has a responsible mentality, committed to what he does. He knows what he's doing, and he has a big network. And I'm only 29 yet, and my network is growing, and maybe I have to put the words out more often, like I'm doing right now. But yeah, I try to talk to the other locations as well. Yeah, that's for now for the endurance part. The Buurtbuik, the next chapter is about growing the impact on social aspects and food waste to 4 locations in Rotterdam. I always said 4 years ago that in Amsterdam they have 10 locations. So in Rotterdam we can have 11, but let's start with the first 4. So that's the next, the call to action. The next 2 years we will grow to these 4 locations, and what we need is people in the board. It's like a high-end function title, but having them in the board. And what we're looking for is what we ask is 4 to 6 hours a week, shifting every 2 weeks. Like you are on the location, you are guiding the people, you are organizing. And the other sessions are like going to look out for new locations, to find new suppliers, to scout for volunteers and for the guests that have to come. So that's a bit like the function titles that we are looking for the next months. And that's a bit about, that's my call to action. If you know somebody or if you are someone that wants to participate and share in this beautiful organization and make the impact that people really need in Rotterdam as well, then come and find me. And that's also the last slide, what it's about. I have some cadeautjes, some presents, and an assignment for this weekend. So Buurtbuik, every location is once a week. Can be lunch, can be dinner. Wasted food. We cook a 3-course dinner and we share that with everybody. And it's all for free. But the thing I wanted to give you is something else. And that's a Buurtbuik voucher. So you get that and you can come and join us for a dinner. There's also a link or a QR code on it. If you want to join, you can go to the website and there's a form there. So that's my present. And the assignment for this weekend or for today is for everyone I made 2 flyers. So if today you are doing your work, go to the gym, have your spare free time, share 2 of those flyers with someone that you meet and might be interested in coming for dinner or might want to join as a voluntary board member. That's all about Buurtbuik.